we met at the Critics' Choice Awards back in January 2016 when Inside Out won Best Animated Film and through that award season. At that point in January 2016, were you in pre-production already on this?
I don't think even the inkling of the concept was there yet. But I'd have to go back and look at my notes. I think there was I get a little neurotic when one film winds up. I'm like, oh, I want to make sure I have a job. I better put together some ideas for something new. But I was spitting out a lot of different concepts that didn't go, and then came to this one. So it was a little past that, I think.
Okay, interesting. So is there usually, because you've been through this a few times now with the award season and all that into the next movie, is there usually a downtime or are you immediately already starting to come up with other concepts?
There's really not much of a downtime. I mean, the films end up being pretty intense, and we're in a weird time now, which we can talk about. But typically you finish the film and then you just kind of collapse in a puddle of sweat on the floor for about 2 months, and then and think about nothing other than like breathing and eating, and then you kind of come back and slowly your creative juices are restored, and you're like, wow, what's next? So this time it's been obviously very different because we finished the film in, I think our last 7 weeks were when pandemic hit. So there's been kind of no break. Even if I wanted to take a break, it would kind of look like this. So might as
Yeah.
well just keep working.
Yeah. You remember the moment where you feel like Joe came together as a character?
Some early tests, and that's always a pivotal time when you first see him start to like the gestures and the expressions, and then it's tied to the weird thing is like Jamie Foxx, the character, he doesn't look at all like Jamie Foxx, but his voice sounds like it totally fits with Joe.
Hmm.
So it's really curious.
It does. And I like the opening scene in the band room. I played percussion in fifth grade and sixth grade, so I related to some of that. And then we go to the slide walk. And I was telling some of the other people a couple weeks ago in the first part of this junket that that is one of the most striking visuals I have seen in a Pixar movie in quite some time. Pete, where did that slide walk, when did that hit you?
I think we had come up with a story idea, along the way, and the visuals were developed by a bunch of different folks in the art department. They just tried a bunch of stuff, and believe me, they had some more far out stuff that was even weirder than that. But I think there was something that we wanted to tie into that when people have near death experiences, they often report back the going into the light idea, and so that's really we kind of hewed to that idea, to that concept, and then tried to make it as bold and graphic and different because you think, okay, our world, including outer space and everything in the universe, is the physical world. We're now saying we're leaving that and we're going to something else, some other place. So we want it to just be so boldly evident that we're outside of our normal reality. And that was really exciting to people.
Yeah, it is old and something I will remember for a long time. From what I know, you have not confirmed who the voice of Moonwind is, but I'm going to guess and say it is Graham Norton. Am I correct in saying it is Graham Norton?
Maybe.
I could tell right away because I watched the Graham Norton show. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big admirer of his. It really sounds like him. Is there anything more you could tell me at this point based on that?
Well, we're trying to save that announcement for a big splash, but he the character. I'll just pivot. The character is it was a real fun one because he's a very unpredictable, and there's more of him in the film as it continues on. He plays a pretty crucial role in Joe's journey, but also just thematically, he's a guy who you never like. We always figure he probably just got back from Burning Man, and the actor, whoever that is, did it fantastically.
Great. One of my favorite voices. I love it. Great. You've directed some of the most memorable Pixar sequences, whether it's the door chase in Monsters Inc. or the beginning of Up or Bing Bong's Goodbye and Inside Out, that we're still talking about all these years later. Do you know, in the back of your mind, which scene in Soul, or maybe multiple scenes in Soul, that we are still going to be talking about 5, 10, 20 years from now?
Wow. No, because I don't really think of it. I mean, it's impossible to plan them that way. Although I will say, like, a lot of times what happens is you go, okay, kids scared through doors. There's got to be somewhere where that they store all those. Man, I want to go there. So I don't know how, I don't know why, but we're going to manufacture a reason to go there. Same like Inside Out. As soon as we had the concept of abstract thought, I'm like, I want to go to abstract thought. I want to go to this place that reduces reality down. And so a lot of times it's kind of a challenge on the writer to figure out like how do we string these ideas together so that it doesn't feel gratuitous, that it feels very bought in and organic to the storytelling, but it still allows us to have the fun of going to these cool visual places.